Hi, welcome back. I'm Terry White and this is Design Your Life. Today we're going to do a little fall tablescape. My absolutely intrepid producer put on there fall y'all. So this is going to be called fall y'all. But we're going to just do a simple little tablescape. I've covered this table in moss to start with. You do not have to go quite that elaborate. But I have in the center, I have a plate, and I have covered an oasis tray with moss to sort of start it. I call this Punkin in a Thicket. We're going to take a pumpkin. We're just going to set it up there as our main attraction and our centerpiece. And all I've done with the pumpkin so far is I use a little bit of extra virgin olive oil spray to give it just a little bit of shine, and it's also a great way to sort of clean it up just a little bit. Then we're going to take some Eleagnus out of the garden, and we're going to just shove it through the moss.
Oh, fun.
And then clip off the other end and shove it on the other side. That's kind of why it's called moss in a thicket.
Now, Terry, is this for a tablescape, or would someone want to do a decoration in their home? Like, what is this going to be used for?
This is really for a decoration in your home, but also in thinking about long lasting. One of the things I do when I'm doing it for my home that it's supposed to, in theory, last throughout the season is I do not pierce my pumpkins with any kind of wooden sticks to hold them in place. I just let the weight of the pumpkin keep it in place.
That makes sense, because it starts to age or rot once you cut it.
Yeah, as soon as you pierce a pumpkin, or any kind of fruit for that matter, but we're dealing with pumpkins today. Eleagnus has a few little thorns on it that can sometimes cause it to get terribly entangled in other things. But you see, I'm just cutting off the other end and reinserting. Eleagnus is really one of my favorite things. It lasts for a very long time.
And if they don't have any of this in their yard, can you order it from a
You
store?
cannot really order it from, it has to be, homegrown. But you can use other kinds of vines that you might have in your yard. I've never tried to use grapevine.
I bet that would work. Or ivy.
This one is going to be a real problem. But you see, I'm just sort of building a little drama around the pumpkin. And so far, everything that I have done will last for about 4 weeks, maybe 5 weeks.
So it could even go into almost Thanksgiving.
It could almost go into Thanksgiving. This one is just going to be contrary. But you see, I'm starting to build sort of a centerpiece for it. We're going to add a few flowers to it. In essence, if you were having a party, you might want flowers, but I'm also trying to construct this so that you can pull the flowers out as they fade.
I mean, because it's just beautiful like it is, actually.
And please ignore the debris. We're going to take a little magnolia and put just around the edge.
And you had this moss table from a wedding you just did.
I do, and I can't stand to throw anything away until it at least has 2 uses or 2 purposes, and it seemed like the perfect purpose for this. Magnolia is great for Christmas, but it's also wonderful, I think, for fall. And I'm just going to make a little debris pile here. But you see, I'm just thinking in terms of the centerpiece. But I also have a few other pumpkins, and I am using this olive oil spray just to give them just a little bit of shine. I've already done most of them, but I'm going to just pile a couple of more pumpkins because we like drama. We especially like things to be a little over the top. Ordinary is, you know, that's for amateurs. You gotta think.
Well, that's why you use those Cinderella pumpkins. I mean,
Yeah.
those are unique.
And I generally don't like pumpkins that are too terribly orange, but these are a little bit more orange than maybe what I would normally do. But then I've walked around the yard and I've gathered up a few natural leaves. I don't like those preserved leaves that they sell. They smell really, really bad. And I just have a few little wonderful leaves and a few acorns. I have 2 fabulous oak trees, and they produce something year-round, much to my dismay and also to my pleasure.
There might have been a trip or fall or 2 over an acorn.
But just a few acorns, just to give it a little bit of stuff. And so far, the cost of the pumpkins is pretty much it. Now, if you're having a party, you should probably always add flowers. So I have a few flowers here that I bought at the local grocery store, actually Kroger's in Belmead. They have the best selection. And I'm just going to add a little punch of color. Very natural insertion. That's sort of one of my keystones for making something wonderful is don't think too much about it. I do tend to group things because grouping things does add much more impact. And Emily has to chase me around right now.
Try not to trip over everything in your living room.
I'm a very active flower designer. And when these flowers fade a bit, just pull them out. You still have the basis for a pretty wonderful centerpiece. And you can add, if you'll keep your oasis wet, once it dries out, it's hard to re-wet it. But if you'll keep it wet, in between using it for the insertion of flowers, it will last for really months. I don't know what it's made out of, but it's probably not something that I really want to think about. But then I love the play of purple and orange together. I'm not a traditionalist as far as fall goes. Yellow and orange does nothing for me, but I really love I'm allergic to mums. I don't use a lot of mums. In fact, a mum-free fall is usually my goal. The only reason I'm using mums this week is because my intrepid, as I said earlier, producer, she advertised that there might be mums involved.
I threw you under the bus,
so
didn't
I'm trying to suffer through this, but yeah, mums make me.
Well, you know, there's a story behind that, Terry, because the mums were really important to me when I was going through my poor college days, and they always made me so happy in the fall. And I literally one year used my last $25 to go get mums because they made me happy. And so my kicker to life is always get the mums, always buy the mums. If something makes you happy.
I agree with the always buy whatever makes you happy. Just for me in particular, mums don't necessarily make me happy. They make me cough, sneeze, and in a half an hour or so, my lips will be very red.
Oh, great. Great. You know, I could have just photoshopped some in.
But that wouldn't be honesty.
It wouldn't,
you know.
would it be?
But you see, quite easily, it really has turned into a wonderful centerpiece without a lot of expense or a lot of effort. Just always make sure you have Joyce Shin scissors. These are the snips that I have used for 20 years, and they are so much better than a knife. And because magnolia leaves will stand, I'm just going to place a few just to give each one of the elements a little more footing, a little more substance. And then if we got the debris out of the way, maybe you could actually see what we've created.
That's really pretty. And I mean, you could collect those acorns on a walk, make it a little fun fall activity. I like it.
Well, that's actually what the acorn collection was, a fun little walk. But I also, I love kale. I like the purple because, as I said, I'm not an orange and yellow person. So I've got these small kale plants from the grocery store, again from the Kroger's, and just put them in simple little wood boxes, knocked a little wood off of them. But they really do, to me, add a wonderful element of tying the purple into the orange.
I love it. It's simply beautiful.
Thank you again for coming and watching. Please share. Let me know what you're thinking. But I'm Terry White, and this is Design Your Life. The Eagle E. Agnes was much more contrary than...
I know, it just didn't want to work with you today, did it?
I didn't have quite long enough stems. I should have gone down and cut fresh.
Well, you made it work. It looks gorgeous. It looks gorgeous. At least it didn't hit you in the face.
Well, I mean, it should have. That would have been cute.
Thanks for watching Design Your Life with Terry White. We hope you've enjoyed this fall inspiration video. So go build your own arrangement and comment, show us some pictures, send us an email. We would love to hear from you. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you again soon. Cheers.